Maybe Jay or Francisco have something. All right,
Hey,
welcome.
everyone.
Hi, Francisco. Welcome everyone to episode number 157 of Pro NoCoders Office Hours. I'm your host, Tonya. I'm here with members Ben, Jay, and Francisco, and our guest, Tila, and Mike Kim, as usual. Pablo will be here any second now. We're going to get started in a moment, but before we do, I just want to let you know a little bit about what Pro NoCoders is and what Office Hours is. We do this every day of the week, Monday through Friday, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific, and Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific. And we invite our members to come on to our Zoom, which we broadcast live several different places, and they can ask us any bubble question they want. And we can't promise to always have the answers because nobody always has the answers, but we do promise you won't suffer with your bubble question alone. And we do get it right a lot of the time. So yeah, if you would like to join us, you can. It's $99 per month. And again, you get, 5 to 10 hours of support every week for $99 per month. You can sign up at pronocoders.com and then just follow the links to office hours and come on in. All right, we're going to get started here. Jay, do you have anything for today?
Yeah, I do.
Awesome. You want to kick me off of screen share?
Give me just a second. I didn't want to be first either.
Oh, okay. Francisco, do you want to be first?
Yes, I can go first.
Okay, let's do
let
it.
Let me send you guys this link here. And I would like you to open up on your computer and share your screen if you can. This is about that font situation that I was telling you about.
Okay, cool.
On Notion, on Slack a couple of days ago. It's because like this week has been like super crazy. We had a holiday on Monday, so everything was like kind of off schedule. That's why I couldn't reach here earlier. You see, so you see what you see here. You're looking at a font, for example, on the yellow box here. You're seeing a font with serif and everything else. And here on the paragraph, like monitori, the first run here, you're not seeing a bold font. I'm gonna show you guys what I see on my screen, and it's what you guys should be seeing on your screen as well.
Okay.
Let me just show you this here. Is it working? Are you guys?
Yep, I can see your screen, but I don't see your app. I see something different. I see a spreadsheet. Or maybe we're looking at your back end.
I'm on the wrong screen. Sorry. Let me just pull this here and make this easier. So you see here how the fonts are way different. For example, here I don't have any serifs, and here I have like a different weight size of font.
Yep, for sure.
And that's what I'm not getting what's going on here, because when I think that I did the right steps though to install the fonts here on settings, but I'm not quite sure what could have been, because here I have the fonts loaded. It's this Gotham font. And it's actually, I loaded them twice just to check the sake of it,
Okay.
Hey, Tonya, sorry.
Yep, no worries.
I did read somewhere, I'll try and find the post about this being a bug. I'll have a look in the
forums. On like the forums or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try and find it.
Yep. I've never actually installed or used a custom font. Maybe Pablo has when he gets here. And then I can also, let me see if my favorite designer is available, or maybe he can pop on.
All right.
But yeah, I definitely see the difference. Like, it's not just you, so.
Yeah, and this happens, that's super weird because it's happening from computer to computer. So the fonts that each person is seeing is a different font. So I don't know if when I deploy the website, if it's going to be solved, because then I'll have my font actually installed on, I don't know, GoDaddy or whatever they're going to use, or if this is something inside Bubble.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's very.
And the other doubt that I have here, it's another silly one. But when I'm sending my user from page to page, for example, I don't know, let me check like here on maybe this one. Let me just go here to my header. So when I'm sending the user from one page to another, so I have here, oh, just because I said that this one is not actually. Well, I don't know what happened. The thing is, my issue here is when I come here and go to page, I have a bunch of my errors here on Bubble. It is saying like data to send because I didn't fill this in. And for a couple of them, when I try to put current user, for example, just to fill the blank here, it doesn't allow me to just put current user.
Got it. So when you're going to the sign up, when you're going to a page and that data to send turns red, the reason it's red is the page that you're navigating to is set to be a particular content type. So you have to send something that's the same type that it's set to into that page.
But what do I do when the contents are different?
Right. So like, do you have one that you can show me where current user, because your _ sign up page is it has been set to a type of user. So maybe go to that page and I'll show you what I mean.
To the sign up page?
Yep. And then just open the page element. So click outside of the page to open up the page element. So you see where it says type of content user?
Yes.
So if you're not using a reference to the current page user, you could actually take that off and it shouldn't.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought it was a problem.
Nope. So so unless you're using current page user, you wouldn't need
to have this type.
You wouldn't need to have a type of content.
Page.
Right, exactly.
Oh, got it.
And so
that's why we put those in groups. Okay, got it.
Yep. So, and then but you can set a page to be any kind of content type that you want. And then it's going to require that when you navigate to that page, you tell it which content to send into that page. So if whenever you see the red, like it'll turn, red, probably if the page isn't expecting content, I don't think you can send content into it. I don't know if it turns red or not, but yeah, that's the disconnect there.
All right, I'll check those and we'll come by tomorrow. That's pretty much it.
Okay, well, it looks like my favorite designer is going to be able to come on and maybe take a look at your font issue.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
So hopefully he'll be here in just a minute.
You know, I'm here for the whole session, so that's good.
Yep.
You guys can.
But he's coming in right at this second, so to spare his time, let's just go ahead and if you can show him. Hey, Dami. Making his first appearance on Office Hours ever. I can't believe it's taken 157 episodes to get you here, Dami.
Hi, Tonya.
How's it going?
Not bad, not bad.
Good. So Francisco is having a little bit of a problem where the font isn't being consistent. He's uploaded custom fonts to his app and it's showing correctly in his computer, but then he demonstrated on my computer, it's showing completely different font. So we were just wondering if first of all, maybe Ben mentioned that maybe it's a bug. But if there's anything you could see, I don't know what you might be able to see, but any tips or tricks to getting this to work?
Okay. Usually once it's installed on the custom fonts section here, it should work on the browser, except the browser you're using is not compatible with it, but it should work directly.
But every browser is compatible with Bubble, or which browser is not compatible with Bubble?
No, all browsers are compatible with Bubble. I mean the fonts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I meant the font. So basically, you have the two fonts already installed. So
Yeah.
they should, if the fonts are correct, they should also show exactly this. But this looks like the same thing.
Yeah, those are the same fonts because I was
Okay.
having this error or this bug, I don't know. I reinstalled them, but yeah, they are the same fonts here. I just renamed them different.
Okay.
But
So
if you
each,
look, I
okay.
sent you a link, which is in the chat here at
Okay.
Zoom. If you could just hop on that link,
Okay.
you're going to see a screen like this one, but it's a different kind of fonts. You're going to see a different font probably here on this yellow box and here in this paragraph.
Okay. So both this heading and the subtext are using that same font, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
But
Hey,
what is
Pablo,
funny
welcome.
is, oh, sorry.
Sorry to
Hey,
interrupt. I
guys.
was just welcoming Pablo to the call.
Oh, okay. But the thing is, what is funny is that I'm not seeing your screen, but when I saw Tonya's screen, this paragraph right here under Diário.leta, it's the same font, but this font was working on her screen, but the
Yeah.
bottom paragraph was not working, and the one inside the box was not working either.
Yeah.
Either.
I don't even think any is working in my head on mine. I'm inspecting right now.
Which browser are you using? Are you using Chrome or something else?
Yeah, I'm using Chrome.
Yeah, I'm using Chrome as well.
Okay, we're all using Chrome, so it doesn't make sense.
It's funny because, okay, let me show you what I'm seeing.
All right.
Um,
Let me stop sharing my screen here.
okay.
All right, good to go.
This is it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This
Oh,
looks
yours
like
already translated. That's awesome. That's quite interesting.
That looks,
Yeah.
that's not quite the right
No,
font, but that's better than mine, right?
Okay. This looks like a serif font. Gotham is a sans serif font.
Yeah.
But when I'm inspecting it, you can see it's showing 16. Can you see it? 16px Gotham.
Yeah, but Gotham. Yeah, but that's
Yes.
not Gotham. Yeah.
But that's not Gotham exactly. This is Beba's new.
Yeah, that's working fine.
Okay.
But the problem is Gotham, which is cross everything.
Okay. And it's working from your hand. That you can see that it is Gotham from your hand.
Yes, from my, yeah. And when I open in a browser, it shows up as Gotham, you know?
Okay.
Any thoughts, Pablo? Have you ever worked with custom fonts before?
No idea.
I haven't either.
What I think I might do is just try to figure it out if I can find a font that looks like Gotham, but is like Google fonts, like to figure out a website to compare fonts or something like this, and just tell my client like, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep. And also I would submit a report to Bubble, just see what Bubble has to say.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, that's true. Because even on Safari, it's still showing. It's still not showing the Gotham.
It is
It's
still
showing
not
the
showing
same thing it
Gotham.
was showing on the Chrome, yeah. On
Yeah,
Safari.
and I think if I was uploading something wrong, it wouldn't show up on my settings over there at Bubble. Like it wouldn't show up properly like the way it was showing.
Okay.
Got it.
I've used custom fonts a couple of times. Almost every project I do outside work usually uses custom fonts, but I've never experienced this behavior. Maybe you should try using another font, testing with another font.
Oh, maybe. Good point.
It's possible that that font is the one with the issues. So you can try it. Maybe if you have another custom font, You can try testing with it and then see whether it's displaying well on other people's screen aside your screen.
Tila is asking, is there any additional code on the page between those 2 points?
Between the font, which 2 points? Sorry.
Tila, you could go ahead and speak up whenever you want. It's pretty informal around here.
He was saying that the top showed correctly at one point, but the bottom, the text underneath that didn't. So I was just wondering if there could have been something on the page
Gotcha.
affecting, but it looks like it's the whole page, so never mind.
Yeah.
All right. Well, sorry, Francisco. I hope
no
let us
problem.
know if Bubble says something interesting. I'd be very curious to hear.
Yeah, I'll report back to you guys.
Oh, Ben said from what he just found, it's most likely an issue with that font. If you try to use a different custom font to see if the issue is with Bubble or that font.
All right, I'll do that.
Very cool. Thank you, Dami. You're welcome to stay, but I know you're very busy as well, so it's up to you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Tonya.
guys.
Really appreciate the backup.
No problem.
Yep. And then Pablo, I have a question from last night, this morning, that I was working on with Tila, and we weren't able to come to a solution. And I said, maybe Pablo will be able to help out. We
Okay.
have, she's trying to send a webhook from thrivecart into Bubble, and she's used the detect data URL, and it keeps telling her that it's not a valid URL. And we're like, I don't know why that is. So I don't know if there's anything special that you might be able to help with, or any ideas that you could give us on getting
What-
that to work.
What's the service that she was trying to send the webhook from?
It's thrivecart. So
Because I'm guessing the problem is on their side, right? Because
yeah, and then Tila, you can speak up if you want to give more detail about it.
Okay. Is it okay if I share my screen as well?
Yeah, of course. Yep, definitely.
Okay. I think it's, so I used webhook.site to test, and it received information from thrivecart, but thrivecart won't, every time I put in the link from Bubble, I always get this message saying, ensure that the URL is correct, or sends a 200 code. And so this is what I have set up in Bubble.
Mhm.
And I hit detect. What?
How about we might try running this workflow without authentication? I don't know if that would make a difference.
Yeah, I did that too.
Oh, you tried
I've
it.
tried
Okay.
every combination, but I'll try it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Like,
It's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I am open to trying everything. I even did, like you said, I deleted it this morning and I re-added it. And it's still for some reason, but when I hit detect, oh, you know what? I have to have this open. When I have this open, I'm going to copy the link, take this one out, paste it in there, and I still get that. So I'm not really sure.
What happens if you uncheck receive the results in JSON?
Check that.
Just out of curiosity.
Okay, that's still up. And then I hit save. I get the same thing.
Nope. I think we're gonna have to send you to thrivecart and say, what's up?
Yeah. In their documentation, they said it's so funny because their documentation says it's always, almost always on your side. I was like,
Almost
okay.
always on your side, but
Yeah.
but we've like, is there a way for us to check the server logs? I don't know. I've never checked for this to see if we
Yeah.
sent the 200 response. Because that's the only other thing
Oh,
is
that's interesting.
they're definitely like asking for that 200 response.
Let's see.
And then maybe show
Okay.
advanced just to make sure we're
Oh.
seeing
Uh,
HTTP response, and maybe uncheck the other things.
Uncheck the other ones. Okay. Nope, nothing.
Or how about request just in case, but
rest.
HTTP request. I don't think so, though. So it looks like we're maybe failing to send that response. What do you think, Pablo?
Yeah, I think so. That
Okay.
might be the case.
So maybe a
I
bug
do,
report.
I tried. And they give you well, this is the one that ran this morning or yesterday when I tested it, but you put this link in there and run it. And it received the message from thrivecart just fine.
Right.
So
It looks like thrivecart requires the 200 response. And even though you have that checkbox marked, it looks like your app isn't logging sending a 200 response. So,
okay.
which could be the problem because then they wouldn't be receiving it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, maybe, so maybe a bug report to Bubble, but definitely
It
I
gets me
would.
headed in the right direction though.
Yeah, definitely.
What about like removing the initialize? Did you try that from the webhook?
Removing, let me open it back up. Initialize.
I mean,
And you're saying take it off of here.
Mhm.
let's see.
Oh, I would leave the last slash on though. I just
Okay.
tested that the other day.
Same.
Nope.
Oh, let me try
No.
the JSON again.
All the combinations.
You're right. And nothing. Okay. All right. Then that's definitely helpful. It lets me know like the app is probably not sending the information back. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
Awesome. No problem. Did you have any other questions?
That was it.
That's it. Okay. Well, you're welcome to hang around. We love having you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. We're back to who said they didn't want to go first? It was Ben. You were here first and you said you didn't want to go first. Are you ready? He might have stepped away.
I'm ready.
You're ready? Go for it, Jay.
So I have a database that has stuff in it, like some questions, and the questions are supposed to get sent every day to the user base. So I've tried two different things and neither are working. So I tried an API workflow and I tried recurring. So before we get into this, which one do I delete?
Okay, so you're trying to send something every day and you're not on a professional plan. So you're definitely going to want to keep the API workflow and ditch the recurring.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So I'm using the Twilio syntax plugin.
Mhm.
But that, I mean, I don't expect that to be the problem. I assume that this is the problem.
Yep, the problem is it won't send every day because you don't schedule that API workflow to run again at the end. Your step 3 should be to schedule that workflow to run, that's very same workflow to run again in one day. Current date and time. And then you're going to add one day.
And then
SMS and recipient should be the same.
straightforward. Okay. All right. Great. Thank you. I'll let you know when I talk to you on Friday.
Yeah.
And then my other question, since that was so short, if you want to stop me, that's
Oh,
fine.
well, hang on just 1 second. I just want to double check that it would run once. It just wasn't running every day, right? When you're testing.
I don't think it ever ran.
So you never are getting the text message or the email.
Well, that could be because of my data.
Okay.
So I don't know. If I change the time, then shouldn't that solve the, can I test that? Like if I change this?
Oh, okay. So you have an only, yeah. So I would take the date scheduled off. So if something happens and that expression at the bottom of the workflow, if that expression is false, it won't run the workflow, and then it will stop because it won't schedule the workflow to run again. Right? So you would break your recursive workflow that way. Now, if you want to only send the text message or the email when that expression is true, then you could put the expression on step 1 and step 2, but then at least step 3 would always run. So that when that becomes true, like, but
Right.
I don't think you need to worry about the schedule in the database. The schedule is in the workflow.
But how does it know which one to send?
Well, that's when you schedule the API workflow to run, it's going to require that you send those parameters in. That's going to be done from the front end though. So either when they sign up or when they when they do something on the page, that's when you will schedule this API workflow to run. And then once you set it to run, it should run over and over again without interruption.
So this should be the last step of the sign-up process.
Probably, that would make sense. Like
But
you would,
then-
but then on the sign up page, when they click that last button that finishes or finalizes their sign up, you would schedule in the front end, you would schedule this API workflow to run.
But this is just one API workflow for the whole user base, right? Or
Yes.
or is it?
Yeah, if you're a paying customer, this is what you're paying for. Like this is the product. It sends you.
So you're paying for a daily SMS.
That's
with
the beginning. Yeah, that's the first step in what you're paying for. So you got to have this. But you're saying the front end. So to me, that sounds like someone needs to click a button, but I don't think that's what you mean. What do you mean?
So like you haven't scheduled this API workflow to run, right? Like, so in order to get an API workflow to run, you have to schedule it somewhere else. You can't just create the API workflow and then have it expect it to run.
Okay.
Right? So you have to go to your front end, decide what action the user takes that you're going to attach this workflow to. It's usually an action, in this case, that the user is only going to do one time ever. So completing their sign up makes sense, right? And so can you go to the page where they click the button that finalizes their sign up?
Yeah, but before we go there, let me ask another question. Could this be a database trigger that triggers this?
Potentially, yeah, you could do that, but not for only for getting it started, right? So you could do a database trigger that like when a new user is created, then it triggers that API workflow, but you can't run a database trigger recursively because you can't schedule a database trigger.
But
one,
can you do a database trigger so that these are the dates scheduled, so that when the date's scheduled is current date and time?
No, you can't.
Okay.
Because the database trigger is based on something changing.
Right. Gotcha.
So, Pablo, did you have something to add?
no. I was just trying to understand a little bit more about how it worked. Like if there was just one workflow that sent SMS to all the paying customers, or if each customer has
no,
like the API workflow associated to them, you know, how it worked in general. But I think it's the second one, right? Like when
yeah, I
a
think
user-
it's individually. Yeah, like
Yeah.
when I sign up, it's going to be sending me questions that are relevant to
To
me,
me,
right?
yeah. Okay. That
No,
makes a lot of
everyone
sense.
gets the same question.
Oh, okay. So then why is the schedule are you just basing the schedule based on something that they choose, or
There's
how
a
are
new
you?
question every day.
Because then maybe it's worth it to just have like one workflow that checks for the users that are paying and sends them the question, right? And then you
Yep.
schedule it yourself on like the admin page or something like
Say
that.
that again?
So instead of setting up, like, instead of scheduling that workflow to run for each user, set it up so that every day at the same time, you run recursively through all of your paying users and send them a question.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, that was, I wasn't clear.
Sorry about that. I
Thank
didn't
you for the
notice.
clarification, Pablo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what I was thinking, and I was a little bit confused.
That's why I love having backup. So in that case, you just need like a temporary, and so you like, let's clarify a little bit more. So if I sign up and I'm like, are you gonna have customers from different time zones? Is it gonna matter what time of day it sends out?
Ultimately, I'd like them to be able to pick, but right now I just want it to work.
Okay, so yeah.
And yes,
So,
they will be in different time zones.
all right, so go back to the API workflow. Okay, and then open up the editor for it. Yeah, so let's
I
so
think, yeah.
the SMS and the question that are coming in here, they should probably be lists because you're not going to send the same one every day, right?
They're different. They look like this. Every one is its own line.
Okay,
So the date, the category, all they care about is this and this. This is what they get.
and do you want to repeat the questions?
Only once a year, but I want to be able to change them. So I don't want to schedule it for every 365 days or anything. I just want to get through the first year.
Got it. And there's not like an order category, like, or like an order field on it.
Because there isn't enough content here yet, but there should be. I mean, there's going to be like, sometimes there'll be a series of questions, like maybe about restaurants or whatever. So those might be in order, in which case it makes sense to put an order category. But other than that, I mean, should I have one anyway? Like, I don't know. I'm so freaking
I'm
lost
just,
today.
yeah, no, I'm just thinking through the like if we set it up and they're sending the same question to everyone, like how do we keep from repeating questions? Because it's not as simple as like sending a list, because if we were just sending a list of questions into the API workflow, we could just take one question off of the list each time. But in this case, you want to recycle through them. But
Well,
after,
I did maybe after a year, but I don't want to necessarily do that. I'll probably tweak them every year. But
Okay.
I mean, I have the date scheduled, so why wouldn't this be enough? Like, this is
Yeah.
just the same as an order, isn't it?
I think it could work if every day you schedule the API workflow and you send the SMS that corresponds to that day. So you would need to have another API workflow,
A
and then
different
schedule.
API workflow.
Yeah, and then schedule that one, right? And this API workflow would be like send SMS to the list of users, for example. And I think here is where you would do a search for the users. Yeah, so you would search for the paying users that need to get the SMS.
That would go here, right?
No, you in the actions, Just search. You can go make changes to thing, and then you will have them. You're gonna do a search, or make changes to list of things actually. Yeah, so not that action, the other one.
Is it a list? Why is it a list?
Because it's gonna be a list of users, right? That you're gonna want to
No,
use.
it's, well, I mean, is it a list? It's a database of you, just like a regular, it's the user database. Is that a list?
Yeah, because you're gonna get like maybe 100 users from the database. That's what I mean. So
Okay, you
you're
said list. I didn't know if you meant like,
yeah.
list.
But you
field.
can also directly schedule the API workflow. I just think this is easier to afterwards in case you want to change it. So there you can select user, I think it's the first one.
Lost my mind.
Yeah, it should be the first one.
You see it? Oh, it's the first one.
Yeah. And then you do a search and you get a type user. Yep. And you can put any constraints that you want over there. Okay, for example, then if you're gonna want to search for the SMS, right, that you want to send each day, right?
Yes.
Because each day you might want to send 1 or 2 or 3. So yeah, you could do the same as we have done right now, but let's just schedule the API workflow that you had. So schedule an API workflow. And instead of doing it like that, schedule an API workflow on a list, actually. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter. We can use this one or we can use the other one. But the type of things is going to be user.
Okay.
And then the list to run on is the result of step 1. API workflow is going to be the other one. Yeah. Schedule date is going to be, yeah, current date and time. And then, yeah, like that is okay.
I want it to be, I don't want anyone getting a text from me at midnight. That's annoying. So just while I'm here, okay.
Okay, and then
SMS.
SMS here is where you need to do the search for each day. So you would need to get the particular SMS.
That should be, is greater than or less than. It's less than the current date and time. It's greater than. But is it equal to the current date and time? I'm sorry.
That's why probably
today.
like having just like a number with like the day of the year, that could be like the easiest way, going from 1 to 365.
Yeah.
And
so I have
that could be the easiest, because that way you make sure that each day you're sending the SMS that you want, and you don't have to play with dates, which is, it doesn't work that well. Like sometimes I find that my API workflows don't run, and it's because of that. Like I never do this way, like checking if a date is equal to another date, even if you use the conditionals. Like I don't think it's very reliable. Maybe I don't do things the way that they should be done, but I always try to use just numbers. Yeah.
So do I leave this or change it?
I mean, if you do it this way, it's not going to work, because it would only look for the SMS questions where the data scheduled is equals like the current date and time exactly. What I would do is have what Tonya said, like maybe an order. If you know you're gonna send just one SMS a day, then go from 1 to 365 and assign those numbers to each SMS. And the other possibility is to do data schedule is bigger or like, yeah, more than current date and time or less than current date and time. But I don't know how the data is structured. So that's what you will need to check. But that condition is not going to allow you to send an SMS. I don't know if I'm explaining myself. But here you would need to pick this user for the recipient. Yeah. The important thing is to find the SMS afterwards, okay? And now you're going to be running the workflow, which is basically just sending the SMS to each user, and then you would need to schedule it again, exactly, for the next day. Yeah, plus 1 day.
I'll come back to
Oh,
that.
but not this one, the master one, the master one. You need to schedule, yeah. So not SMS to list, you need to schedule the master SMS API workflow. Yeah, that one.
Okay, and
Yeah.
then that eliminates that problem. And then that'll trigger this one.
Yeah, and if you go to that one, let's make sure that it's gonna work well. So you're sending the SMS, that's good. You have the recipient, and you need to see if, and you wouldn't need this one anymore.
So delete this one.
Yeah, this is how I would do it. I think this should work,
Okay.
but we definitely need to try it. Yeah, what do you think,
So
Tonya?
I need to be adding a column in here and putting a number that increases incrementally.
That's
and
gonna be that's gonna be
Yeah, that's
definitely
how I
easier.
would do it.
Yeah, that's how I would do it. Yeah.
Okay, okay, and then go ahead.
Imagine you wanted to send like 2 SMS on the, I don't know, day 30 of the year. Then you can have 2 that have a 30 as the number. Like, it doesn't have to be unique. Depends on your use case. But if you want it to be unique, I would definitely use like a column with numbers and just increment it every time.
Yeah, I can't imagine wanting to send 2, but maybe I will around the holidays or something. I mean, I can see that there might be a case for that. So when I go in here and do, where'd it go? This one, then this will do a search for
The SMS that corresponds to this day.
So
So
what do you mean by that?
so that's a good point, because you're gonna need to start a counter. Imagine you know that your first SMS is today, and then you start the counter on 1.
So you would add a parameter.
Yeah.
You'd add a parameter called counter, right? And then you'd also have to account for if you ever ran out of them, right? So like at the end, if you only do 365, when we get to day 365, it won't be able to find a 366. So if that happens, then it needs to go back to 1.
Yeah, so
That doesn't sound like a great approach for me, because then I'm going to have to look at my database and change all those numbers. Whereas if the number goes up infinitely, I want to think about it again.
Oh no, but you can put
But
that.
I mean, you can always add more in if you don't want to deal with that. It's just if you run out, like if you stop doing it and you still want them to get the text messages, then you'll want to account for, well, what happens when I run out of content here?
Like one, yeah. Go ahead. I'll talk
Pablo,
later.
you said something about this being the current. I don't remember how you put it, but when I have the counter and it's do a search for, let's say today's the 17th and it's the first month ever, so today would be number 17. How do I tell it look for 17, not 16, not 18?
Okay, so you would do a search for the messages, or I don't know how they're called on the database. And then the constraint would be, the number that you could create. So let's create it now if you want. Yep. Equals, or number equals, that would go. And this is what Tony meant. Like, if you want to always send the same message here, you would put 1. But since you want it to be a different message every day, every time you schedule the API workflow again, you're going to be changing this number. Therefore, in the SMS master trigger API workflow, you should add a parameter So if you click in the API workflow over there, you could add a new parameter that is called counter. Type number, yep. And then over there, you put counter. And now the other thing that you need to do, no, counter like this, perfect. And then when you schedule the API workflow again, oh, you're gonna have to choose the first item, yeah. And then over there, the counter is counter +1. So the first time you schedule it, it's gonna look for number 1, then it's gonna look for the SMS with number 2, number 3, etc.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. That is great. Thank you guys so much. And thanks for being patient. I really am fried. I've spent a lot of time this morning on the phone with AWS support.
Oh gosh.
And it was super frustrating, although they were really nice. And that leads to my next question, which I think is a short one. If someone else wants
By
to
the
go.
way, remember to trigger this API workflow from like your admin page or something.
Yeah,
So-
even if it's a
once,
temporary page or something. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to trigger it once, and that's enough. But yeah, remember to do that.
Just
Otherwise,
once
it's not gonna
ever?
run.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you can check in the logs if the API workflow is scheduled, and if you ever want to stop it, you just stop it from there. You go to the logs, to the scheduled API workflows, and you stop it.
Great. Okay. I have to figure out where I put my admin page. This is an old app that I'm bringing back from the dead. I don't remember where anything is. Okay, that's great. I have another question. If someone else wants to go, I'll wait.
Sure.
Thank you
Hang
so
on.
much.
Yeah, no worries. Ben, are you back? I don't know what happened to Ben.
Hey, sorry, my mic was off.
Oh, no worries. Welcome back.
Hey, and now Siri's trying to talk to me as well. Sorry.
I've got Siri, I've got Alexa, I've got.
Oh my God. So I locked and loaded with a few questions because I thought it might be a slow day again, but got a full
Thank you.
house today, which is great.
I appreciate the effort.
Share screen. There you go. Okay, cool. I think I'm back with the easy wins again. Hopefully.
Yay! I love that.
But
Those are
Also,
always
I
our
have to
favorites.
show the answer to that bug that was getting me last night. Like, oh my gosh, it's so silly. But I'll share that at the end.
which bug was that?
The one where I couldn't get the URL parameters to work, like it kept deleting the URL parameter.
Oh yeah.
I figured it out. It only took me like 2 minutes to figure it out after office hours, but yeah, it's so
Did you
embarrassing.
figure out the Microsoft Google Sheets thing again? Sorry, not the Microsoft.
Oh, have I figured that out? Is that what you're asking?
Mm-hmm.
I've made progress. I will say I've been able to do the OAuth part. I haven't gotten beyond making like actually getting things from or into the Google Sheet because it says something is wrong with my grants. So I have to go figure out what they mean by grants.
And pathfix isn't an option?
So I'm trying to avoid pathfix because that's like, I mean, I'm just ultimately for this client's sake and then for my sake, we shouldn't have to pay for it, right?
No.
Because Bubble is willing to do, I mean, we're paying for Bubble and Bubble is willing to do the work if we can just figure out how to make Bubble talk to Google Sheets. So
Okay, cool. So I'm not sure if anyone else has run into this issue yet in the new responsive engine, but I did email Bubble about it, but someone else might know, but it no longer lets you click to replace an image. Does anyone else?
What? That doesn't make any sense.
So you can't replace an image at all, even if you clear it.
That has to
You
be a
can't
bug.
replace it. You have to actually delete the whole image and then go back.
oh, that
and
is
replace.
so buggy.
Yeah, that is definitely a bug.
That's where Bubble would say, we told you it's in beta.
Yeah. Okay.
I tried it yesterday for like and the day before. I spent a lot of time with responsive, and oh man, I was frustrated.
You know who is killing it is Ben.
Me.
Ben is killing it, and Thomas is also killing it. I don't know. I would not say that I am killing it yet. I have aspirations to kill it, but we'll see when I get there. What about you, Pablo?
No, I've been playing with it a little bit, but since
Okay.
we're still building with the old responsive in RDev, most of my time is spent with the old editor.
Yeah.
I do like the new one though. I think it's actually way easier to understand.
Have you played with it at all, Tila?
Yeah, I transferred over one page and I was like, you know what? No, I'm just gonna circle back at another time. I want to get this other stuff.
How many errors did it throw when you made that conversion?
Oh yeah, it threw a lot.
I got 312.
Yeah. I think our general consensus is for anybody who's watching, the at least my take on it is we don't convert. We only build from scratch with the new responsive engine. And then once you get used to it, it's much faster and you have a lot more control over what's happening on your page. So you will probably fall in love with it, but it is very, very different. So
it's just hard. You're used to one thing and now you have to deal with another thing. I don't think it's necessarily harder than it's been. It's just different than what we've become used to.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm looking forward to getting into it.
You can't work on projects that are time sensitive on it because there's so many buggy things. But I think in the long run, it's going to be way better. But it just needs, I mean, to convert everything over and really go into it as a full app, I think you need to wait till it's out of beta. I don't think you could use it at the moment and try and build something that you need to release super quickly.
And that was my situation. I was like, oh, we're trying to push this out. Let me not make this worse.
Yeah. All right. So I'll just do a bug report for that then, I'm assuming, guys.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, cool.
Let us know what happens because I'm very interested. I'm building another app and I'm using the engine, the new engine. And I want to know what happens. Save me a little bit of pain.
Yeah, I'll Slack you as well, Jay, and let you know if there was another issue on it.
Yep. What else can we help you with?
Cool. Okay. Well, has anyone else got other questions, or should I?
I think Jay, you said, Tila, if anything came up in the meantime, you can always ask as well.
Okay.
So, Jay, you want to go?
As you guys have suffered with me, you know that I've been dealing with AWS, and that was to replace Twilio. But you know, I really don't. They're both frustrating me immensely, and I don't really think I need them because this is a version of the GUI. So this is just a record button. So what I plan to do is the users get a text with the question, the one like, for instance, this question maybe. And then they can answer it by clicking here and recording directly into Bubble, which puts it in an S3 bucket. And then I can do what I want with it. And that's all fine. That works. But the problem is, what I perceive as a problem, is when you make your recording on this, it doesn't, I mean, like, okay, I'm making a recording right now, I believe. And when I'm done with it, you know, it's just not as quick as I would like. Whereas if you're leaving a voicemail, it feels faster because, you know, you're not waiting for anything to refresh. You leave your message, you hang up. But I don't want to dick around forever with these APIs. I just want something that works. So I'm wondering, is the way this uploads and the speed at which it uploads, is there any way to make that faster?
Pablo?
I don't know. No idea. I wish I knew, but
so the processing that's happening that is causing the delay is sending it the recording. So is it recording locally and then sending a file? Like, how is the file getting transferred?
Yes, it is recording locally. I am using this. I'm using a plugin called Audio Recorder.
Okay, and is that recording to the local device? So, I mean, if that's using like, cause you can always like, I mean, are they gonna leave the page right away after they're done recording?
I assume that they most likely will. They have the option to redo it, to listen to it when it gets back, when it's, or they can approve it. And once they approve it, they can add a picture. And then that little bundle, the picture, then while they're doing that, this answer that they just made is getting sent to AWS Transcribe. That is working, although I don't love it, but it's working. And then they get it back. There's another box that displays a group and it shows them the transcript. They check it and they click yes, and then they're good to go.
It seems to me, so show me again where the hang up is happening.
Okay, so boom, right now I'm making a recording. It's recording, blah, blah, blah. I'm done. And now we're waiting. And then, so it took like a fraction of a second, but it felt like a long time.
I mean, I think for your user, that's not crazy.
It
Well-
didn't feel like a long time to me. Like, I think if you put an animation there saying, telling the user what's going on,
Right.
something like sending your data to our servers and doing the transcription, you know, so that they understand why they are waiting. Then
Or
that's
I'm trying to think,
okay.
how would Jay make it funny? Because Jay is the funniest developer I know.
Oh,
and
God.
her like messages and
Pressure.
stuff. Like,
Yeah.
like the
Then
things that you
just
say in your
make
sample
it
data.
5 seconds. Yeah, make it 5 seconds so that you can actually put the a funny animation. No, seriously,
Yeah.
like I think 1 second is okay, even 2 or 3
But that was a
seconds.
super short message. They're mostly.
Yeah, no, but I mean, they will understand that if it's longer, it's taking longer, right?
Yeah.
So you can potentially just put the message there or whatever, like about how this is, you know, putting this app to work for you, or however you want to tell them. I've been using the word magic way too much lately, like in the last 24 hours, but like something about this is how the magic happens, or we're making the magic or whatever, like, and just make them wait and it's fine. I think Peter with the ultimate guide to bubble performance, he talks about this. We are much harsher critics about speed and stuff, and it does matter, it definitely does matter, but it matters more to like when people land on your site for the first time,
Yeah,
like that than it does when they're actually using your app for a purpose, right? So like things take time, and data doesn't just automatically, magically, instantaneously like go from one place to the other. So they have to wait for that kind of thing all the time. And no, you definitely, if it was an exacerbated wait, you would have to figure something else out.
yeah.
But like I wouldn't say that what I've seen here is to the point where you need to worry about it, especially not for MVP.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's good, because I mean, these APIs, I spent so much time. I don't mind that because I learned a lot, but and I'm going to use them for other stuff at some other point. But for now, if I don't need it, I don't want it, you know, because then that leaves the only hurdle between this and a launch is the Facebook API, which I'm going to be crying about for weeks, I expect. Weeks. So was there one other question I had? Just to quickly double check, never mind. So when I do that trigger, you know, the admin page to get that master SMS thing to launch, the counter in that should just be 1, right? The first one. And then after that, it's just boom, boom, boom. I don't have to think about it again.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, you'll realize very, very fast if it's working well. But yeah, it's 1 for the first one, and that's it.
Okay, good. All right. I appreciate everyone's help. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
You're more than welcome.
All right. We are going to move into our after hours section. So we're going to leave those of you watching live. We'll be back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific time for office hours episode number 158. If you'd like to join us, go sign up at pronocoders.com. Thanks everybody for watching. And for those of you still on the call, we'll move into our after hours.